Protests on college campuses continue to spring up both nationwide and right here at home. At UNC Chapel Hill, thousands gathered over the weekend to protest the war in Gaza. A group calling itself UNC Students for Justice in Palestine is leading the ongoing encampment. The group wants the university to disclose any investments and break away from companies connected to Israel.
Meantime, President Biden spoke to the Israeli Prime Minister, discouraging an expected assault on the town of Rafah. NBC's Bree Jackson now in Washington with more.
During their phone call, President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu reviewed hostage and ceasefire discussions. The two leaders also spoke about humanitarian aid in Gaza, as well as ongoing concerns about a potential Israeli offensive in the city of Rafah, a move that the U.S. opposes. Pro-Palestinian protests continue at college campuses across the country. Students calling for an end to the ongoing Israel-Hamas war and pushing for schools to stop funding companies tied to Israel. While many of these protests remain peaceful, there are concerns about safety and hate speech.
People have a right to protest and make their views known, and almost, overwhelming percentages of people do that peacefully. But there are those who intimidate or harass others.
I think it's a dangerous situation. You said pro-Palestinian. There's also anti-Semitism, which is completely unacceptable.
President Biden faces criticism from within his own party, people upset with his support for Israel.
Right now, what Netanyahu's right-wing, extremist, and racist government is doing is unprecedented in the modern history of warfare.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken returning to the Middle East today as part of the administration's push to broker a ceasefire deal.
The most effective way to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, to alleviate the suffering of children, women, and men, and to create space for a more just and durable solution is to get a ceasefire and hostages home.
Families of those still held by Hamas urging action after Hamas released this video showing two hostages, including American-Israeli Keith Siegel. The undated video marks the first time they've been seen during more than 200 days of captivity. And Sunday's conversation between President Biden and Netanyahu comes less than a month after the two leaders spoke following an Israeli airstrike that killed 7 humanitarian workers. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.